push record. All right, recording. So this is Postal 268. Thank you for watching on Twitch right now, and thank you if you're watching this on YouTube later. I'm going to be recording several decks. If you watch my YouTube channel, you notice I haven't really uploaded any videos in about a year because I played Pokemon. I mean, wow, how did I just say? I played Yu-Gi-Oh! And I stopped playing Yu-Gi-Oh! About a year ago. And I've switched over to Force of Will just because it is a nicer game. I mean, Yu-Gi-Oh! Is still cool and fun, but Force of Will is way cheaper. I can build a meta deck in Force of Will for like $100, whereas Yu-Gi-Oh! Is going to cost me $600 or $700. So today I'm going to be doing my main deck that I use at events and stuff. You have a stink bug on your phone. Oh. Okay. Sorry. This is what I use at events. I win like 80% of the time. Yeah, first place. If not first place, I don't usually get lower than third. So, this is my Cain deck, which this is the ruler, the Apostle of Creation. When J activates for 1, that's all that's on this side. Here's the other side. He's got First Strike. You cannot tap him for stones while he's J activated, but at the beginning of every main phase, you get to take the top stone and put it into play. Another continuous effect he has is all cognate resonators gain plus 200 life. I mean, attack. Plus 200 attack. And you can pay 1 fire mana, 1 fire stone. Sorry, I'm not feeling this thing. You can pay 1 fire stone and deal 200 damage to target resonator. So, ruler is okay by himself. I'll get to the main deck first. Well, yeah, I'll get to the main deck first because you can obviously tell that these are fire stones. The first card we got here, flip this over. 4 Leviathan Swords. Now this 0 cost regalia. Let me flip one that's not stamped. Okay, they're all stamped. Never mind. Did not mean to do that. I forgot I had that. It says your ruler gains swiftness. So you deactivate this guy, he'll immediately have swiftness. So he'll be a 1-cost 7/7 with swiftness, which is really good. You can tap this, and until the end of the turn, if your ruler would deal damage, it deals that much plus 200. And if you remember his little pay 1 to deal 200 damage effect, Cain's ability will be boosted every time you tap a Leviathan Sword. So if you have multiple swords, each time you tap them, or each time you rest them, that's going to give his effect plus 200. So if I have 3, and say it's draw phase, tap 3, go to recovery, recover them. His effect now, because I rested 3 of these, I'm going to have to try to use the proper terms. I've been explaining how to play this game to Magic players, so I keep using Magic terms. So because I rested these 3 of them this turn, his effect will do plus 200 plus 3 more 200. So that's 2, 4, 6, 800 damage for 1 cost. Then, since I did it in the draw phase, I can tap these again and have another 3. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. I can pay 1 and deal 14 damage to any resonator on the field, essentially just blowing anything. Another reason to run 4 of these is you can banish this, and it'll give your ruler imperishable, which is really freaking handy. That's also why I run 3 Excaliburs. These, they give him target attack, and every time you tap these, he gains plus 2, so plus 200 attack and defense. And also, you can destroy this and give him imperishable. So still another very important. As well as you can discard extra copies to produce mana if you really wanted to. That's a benefit. Then I run 4 Gleipnirs. Now these are really nice because they add consistency to the deck. If I put 1 down, immediately in the draw phase, I can discard other copies to just draw another card. So it's deck shortening, like if you play Yu-Gi-Oh! Upstart Goblin kind of effect. It also adds control. You can tap this, and it gives one of your, you can rest this, and it gives one of your opponent's monsters the ability this card must block if able. So you can control who's going to block the next attack. This is a staple for any Force of Will deck. Deck shortening, draw power, because you can, if you deal damage with your ruler, you get to draw a card. So in this deck, it's really handy. Half the time, I won't even discard them. I'll just start stacking them. And then every time I attack with Cain, I get to draw cards. So if your ruler deals damage to your opponent or their ruler, you get to draw cards while Gleipnir's on the field. One for each Gleipnir. So this is control. This is it helps. This helps with control, consistency, this deck shortening, draw power. Very powerful card. Next, Percival's. 4 Percival's. The only light resonator I use because it is that important. Not only is she a 1-drop, if she's on the field, I can banish her and negate any damage or prevent any damage that would be dealt to my ruler for the rest of the turn or another Knight of the Round Table. But when she hits the field, her effect, I can reveal the top 5 cards of my deck, any Regalia, or a Knight of the Round Table. I can pick one, add it to my hand. More consistency. Since I came from Yu-Gi-Oh!, search cards are just a necessity. That's just like Yu-Gi-Oh! Is search your search cards. Next, Resonator, Ruck Egg. 1 drop, 0/2. It can't attack, but it's a blocker. And when he dies, any Fire Resonator from deck goes to hand. So another search card. Consistency. 4 copies, more than likely going to hit one. And it's a search card for anything else. Now these are really good in conjunction with Cthulhu. I run 4 copies of Cthulhu the Living Flame. Cthulhu the Living Flame has swiftness, so he can attack when he hits the field, and he can incarnate, which means I can just, if I've got Ruck Egg on the field, I can just destroy Ruck Egg and put down Cthulhu without paying mana cost. I mean, without paying stone cost, bill cost. Then, of course, you immediately get the search off of Ruck Egg's effect. So these are, essentially, if you have a Ruck Egg and a Thuga in your hand, you're going to have a turn 1, 5/5 with swiftness. It's just going to hit the field, and you get to search your deck for another card. Now, earlier I talked about my ruler's ability, the plus 200 attack on Cognate Resonators. The only Cognate Resonators in the deck that I have are the Apostles of Cain. They're a 1-drop, 5/1, 500, 100. But they can gain plus 200, so they can essentially be a 1-drop, 700, 100. And they have swiftness if your ruler has attacked this turn. So it's a really good combo, swinging in with ruler, and then for 1 cost, throw down a Cain, swing in. And by this point, you probably have more mana, so you can throw down multiple copies, all with swiftness. It's just really low cost, big attack. Next is any red deck that runs swiftness is going to have Lancelot, because Lancelot is just a 2-cost, 600, 600. That's just a basic, you need that. It's important. Lancelot has another effect. The downside to him, actually, is when you go to attack, you're going to attack with anything, you have to attack with Lancelot first. It says, as you choose a card to attack, you must choose this card available. So he always has to be the first swinger. Which doesn't seem like it'd be that downside of an effect, but when you have other monsters and your opponent has a whole lot of monsters, sometimes it's like a guaranteed, if you swing in Lancelot, it's gonna die. So you have to kind of keep that in mind. Another thing, if you can boost Lancelot's attack, which is his own effect, you can pay 1 Fire Will, and he'll gain plus 100 attack until the end of the turn. That's one way to do it. You could use additions, other monsters, whatever you want. But when this card hits 1,000 attack or more, when he declares an attack, he'll deal 700 damage to any target resident, which that's all selected at the same time. So it has effect damage and attack. At low cost, swiftness, just... I run 2 of these. Yeah, 2 of these. These are Duval, the Grandshire Musician. These are nice because they're another 2-drop, 5/6. And it says, when this card attacks, if your J ruler attacked this turn, then this card will deal 500 damage to target Resonator. So it's like a mini Lancelot, not quite as good, but still useful. And it's like, since I can't run more than 4 Lancelots, this is like having... The downside is they don't have swift. They're smaller than Lancelot, and they deal less damage. But it is a guaranteed damage without having to boost her, as long as you're swinging at your ruler. Which this is your ruler is going to be up front. He's going to be the first thing that hits the deck. He's going to be in the front main line. Now this card I run one copy of. It's a Susanoo. He's the biggest monster in the deck, biggest resonator. He's a 6 cost, 3 fire will, and then 3 of any other color. He has swiftness and pierce. He has a continuous effect though that happens in your hand. It says if your opponent controls a dragon, you can reduce his cost by 3 fire will, which means that this can actually go in any deck as long as you're going against dragons. But yeah, turn 3, 12/12 on the field, because you control a dragon, is good by itself. On top of that, it says you may add a card named Ame no Habakiri from your hand to this card. This is the next card on the list. Ame no Habakiri. I run 2 of these. These are just an addition that boosts your Resonator +4/+4. But whenever your Resonator deals damage to a Resonator your opponent controls, it deals that much damage to the opponent's life as well. And that counts to effect or attack damage. It's really good on Lancelot, it's really good on Jubal, and it's insane on Susanoo. Because Susanoo, his inner ability, would attach Ame to him. Second, it deals damage equal to its attack to a target Resonator, which this would make its attack 16. So it right off the bat deals 16 to a Resonator, and then Ame would trigger and deal 16 to their life. Then you can immediately swing in with Susanoo, and even if they block it, they take 16 to their life unless they block with a ruler. That's 32 damage on their life, turn 3 if they control a dragon. So that's just 800 left, and they're dead. Doing here. So that's all the Goya and Resonators. I'm going to go to the spells now. I run 4 copies of Thunder. Other than Ame, I already talked about. There's 6 spells in total in the entire deck, but 4 Thunders. This is just a really good 1 cost, deal 500 damage to a player, J-Ruler, or Resonator. That should just be a staple in that runs red. So, did not talk about the stones. Very simple. Run 4 copies of Heat Ray because you have to have Light Will in order to play Percival. And then I run 6 basic Firestones. Very easy to complete. So, leave some comments like that. If you're on my YouTube channel watching this better, like, share, subscribe, comment, whatever you want. That'd be really nice. If you're on my Twitch, follow me. But thank you for watching this. Stop the recording now and go. I'm gonna go show different decks. I think I will show off the. I guess it's called the Tin Man deck. Kind of like an Oz deck, but it really only uses. So thanks for watching.